Welcome back again, everyone. It's Dina Kalmet here with CWW7 News. And for today's broadcast, I wanted to bring you a review over some of the events that have occurred in the last few days. In fact, we're going to talk about the United States, Russia, and China, as well as Iran, Syria, and Turkey. So we definitely have a lot to go over. But I first would like to talk about Russia. It is being reported by the TASS News Agency as well as Express News, and they are reporting that Russia will soon be able to fire nuclear cruise missiles twice as far, and they could be coming closer to the United States. A source in the military-industrial complex confirmed the missile Caliber M cruise is under development for the Russian Navy. As well as destroying land facilities and carrying nuclear warheads, the missile can fire up to a range of 2,800 miles. The source told the state-run TASS News Agency that the newest high-precision, ship-based Caliber M cruise missile with a maximum firing range of more than 2,800 miles is being developed by the Russian Navy. The source stated that the creation of the rocket is still in the scientific stages. The source also stated that the development of the missile was included in the state armament program until 2027, with the rocket needing to be transferred to the fleet before the end of the program. According to the source, the missile will not be the same as the existing Caliber missile currently in service. The missile will differ because of its longer range and dimensions. It will be much larger. The weight of its warhead will approach 1 ton. The source said large surface ships will be equipped with the missile, starting with frigates and nuclear submarines. Meanwhile, Russia is deploying long-range precision cruise missiles to the western Atlantic that American defense officials say will allow Moscow to target Washington and other East Coast cities with conventional or nuclear attacks. Moscow is adding the Caliber land attack cruise missiles to both warships and missile submarines that Moscow plans to use in Atlantic patrols near the United States. The new sea-based Caliber deployments are expected in the coming months. It goes on further to report Caliber is a concern for U.S. military commanders in Europe as a result of their deployment on ships and submarines in the Mediterranean and areas near Europe. The missile has been compared to the Navy's Tomahawk cruise missile. And it doesn't stop there. Iran and Russia are preparing to hold joint naval exercises in the Caspian Sea, including rescue and anti-piracy drills. Iran and Russia have held several naval drills in the Caspian Sea, including in 2015 and 2017. Iran and Russia have close ties, including in Syria, where they are both backed by President Bashar Assad in the country's civil war. Russia stated last year it was firmly committed to deepening ties with Iran. I find it very interesting how we're watching these two leaders become closer and closer over time. And they are the exact two leaders that are also mentioned in Ezekiel 38. It's further evidence that Bible prophecy is falling into place perfectly. So definitely very prophetic and very interesting. But speaking about Iran, I have another headline I'd like to bring to you. Apparently, it is being reported that Iran will sail their warships in the Atlantic closer to U.S. waters. Iranian Navy seeks to increase the operating range of its naval forces to the backyard of the United States, its arch foe. Iran sees the presence of U.S. aircraft carriers in the Gulf as a security concern, and its Navy has sought to counter that by showing the flag near American waters. A flotilla will leave for the Atlantic early in the Iranian New Year, starting from March, stated Iran's naval deputy commander. The Atlantic Ocean is far, and the operation of the Iranian naval flotilla might take 5 months. Sahand has a flight deck for helicopters, and Iran says it's equipped with anti-aircraft and anti-ship guns, surface-to-surface and surface-to-air missiles, and has electronic warfare capabilities. Hassani said in December that Iran would soon send 2 to 3 vessels on a mission to Venezuela. A senior Iranian military official stated last month that the Navy could sail in the Atlantic near the U.S. waters, since U.S. aircraft carriers were allowed to move around international waters near Iran. As Russia and Iran visit the United States' backyard, RT News is reporting that the United States is taking a spin in the Black Sea in the name of advanced security and stability in Europe. One more U.S. Navy vessel landing ship, USS Fort McHenry, has entered the Black Sea where tensions are running high after 3 Ukrainian ships violated Russian territorial waters in late November and were arrested. The USS Fort McHenry's arrival reaffirms our collective resolve to Black Sea security and enhances our strong relationship with our NATO allies and partners in the region, stated the 6th Fleet commander. Florida-based Fort McHenry is on a regularly scheduled deployment with the U.S. 6th Fleet to conduct operations with allies and partners to advance security and stability in Europe. It is also reminded that the U.S. Navy routinely operates in the Black Sea, saying it acts in accordance with international law. But 6 American military vessels carried out missions in the area in 2018, including a guided missile destroyer, as well as a command ship, dock landing ship, and an expeditionary fast transport. U.S. Special Representative for Ukraine urged the U.S. to increase presence in the Black Sea in cooperation with Turkey or the EU. And Ukraine's deputy minister went even further, suggesting that the British Navy should sail one of its vessels through the Kerch Strait for the sake of freedom of navigation. It would be interesting to see how the Russians would react. So still a very tense situation with Ukraine, and I am sure that the saga will continue, and I will definitely continue to keep you updated. But I would like to move on and talk about the United States, Turkey, and Syria. It is being reported that John Bolton has stated that there are now conditions in regards to the United States pulling out of Syria. Military Times is reporting that John Bolton is set to press Turkey for assurances that it won't attack Kurdish fighters in Syria, which he said is now a condition for the withdrawal of American troops from northeastern Syria. Bolton arrived on Monday for negotiations with the NATO ally about the safety of the Kurds, who have fought alongside American forces against IS in Syria, and fear a military assault from Turkey should the U.S. pull out. His visit comes a day after Bolton said guarantees about the safety of the Kurds were a condition of the withdrawal of about 2,000 troops in the region that President Donald Trump ordered last month. It goes on further to report that Turkey considers the Syrian Kurdish People's Protection Units linked to an insurgency within its borders and has threatened to mount a campaign against the groups. Bolton stated that the U.S. would oppose any such move against its allies in the fight against IS. He said, "We don't think the Turks ought to undertake military action that's not fully coordinated with and agreed to by the United States. Trump has made clear that he would not allow Turkey to kill the Kurds. That's what the president said, the ones that fought with us." And in response to John Bolton, President Erdogan rebuked the advisor on Tuesday for demanding that Turkey does not harm Kurdish fighters in Syria, accusing him of complicating President Donald Trump's plan to withdraw U.S. troops. The Turkish president said John Bolton, who held talks with Turkish officials, left without meeting the president, made a serious mistake in setting conditions for Turkey's military role after the U.S. pullout. The rebuke highlights the difficulties in implementing Trump's goal of bringing home some 2,000 U.S. troops stationed in Syria, a plan that hinges on Turkish cooperation to secure a huge swathe of northeast Syria as the United States departs. The Turkish president, who has long argued that the YPG were no different than IS, and stated that the condition was unacceptable. If they are terrorists, we will do what is necessary no matter where they come from. Bolton has made a serious mistake, and whoever thinks like this has also made a mistake. It is not possible for us to make compromises on this point. The Turkish president accused members of Trump's administration of trying to muddy a clear understanding between the two countries over the withdrawal. Different voices, he said, have started emerging from different segments of the administration. A senior Turkish official said that Bolton had asked to see the Turkish president, but his earlier remarks may have been a factor in the meeting not going ahead. Erdogan later told reporters there was no need for him to meet with Bolton. So definitely some very interesting news in regards to Turkey. But it also makes me ask the question, will the United States completely pull out of Syria? I think personally, eventually they will, but they are definitely procrastinating right now. But I guess only time will tell, and I will definitely continue to keep you updated. But I would like to move on and talk about China next. In fact, it is being reported that just earlier this week, the United States had sent a missile destroyer in the disputed South China Sea, angering Beijing. China has confronted the United States with fury after it sent a missile destroyer through the disputed South China Sea in a direct challenge to Beijing. China responded by scrambling warships and aircraft to intercept the ship, which sailed within a dozen miles of the increasingly militarized Paracel Island chain. The South China Sea has become a flashpoint that experts have warned could spark a conflict that could spiral into World War III. America's military presence and exercises in the area are a direct challenge to China's claim, which Beijing has used to justify setting up military bases and even runways on disputed islands. The Pacific Fleet spokeswoman said the USS McCampbell carried out a freedom of navigation operation to challenge excessive maritime claims. The operation was not about any one country or to make a political statement, but Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Lu King said the move had violated China's international law and China had lodged stern representations. He blasted, "We urge the United States to immediately cease this kind of provocation." It goes on further to report that the move comes as U.S. officials join talks in Beijing during a 90-day truce in a bitter trade war. Asked about the timing of the operation during the trade talks, Lu said resolving issues would benefit the two countries and the world. In fact, he stated both sides have the responsibility to create the necessary positive atmosphere for this. China claims almost all of the strategic South China Sea and frequently blasts the United States and its allies for freedom of navigation naval operations near the Chinese-occupied islands. And experts have warned the area is now a par with Korea as a potential flashpoint for conflict. Gregory Poling, an Asia and maritime law expert, stated that there's a whole basket of issues that could lead to a U.S.-China conflict. The South China Sea is the thorniest. It gets right at the heart of U.S. primacy in the region, the international order that Washington built up since World War II, and China's willingness to bully neighbors and challenge that rules-based order. If war were to break out between the two nuclear powers, the consequences could be devastating for both regions. China and the U.S. have in the past repeatedly traded barbs over what Washington says is Beijing's militarization of the South China Sea by building military installations on artificial islands and reefs. China, however, defends its construction as necessary for self-defense and says that it is rather Washington that is responsible for racketing up the tensions in the region by sending the warships and military plans close to islands, Beijing claims. So can there be any doubt at this point that we are absolutely witnessing wars and rumors of wars, especially with China and the United States, Russia and the United States, definitely Iran, and also what's happening in Syria. And I didn't even mention Israel today. So definitely some very prophetic things are taking place. And I will continue to keep you updated. I just wanted to bring you guys a quick review and get you caught up on these headlines for today. But please do leave your comments in the comments section. Tell me what you think. Also, come and visit us on Facebook, where we have these stories and many more, as well as our website at www.cww7news.org. All right, everyone, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.